Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm looking at two notebooks from the notebook brand Tiefossi. They make notebooks and a bunch of other sort of stationery things. They're based in China and they sell in places like Amazon. A couple of years ago or a year or so ago, I reviewed one of their notebooks, a beautiful hardcover notebook. And they sent out these two new notebooks for review here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly talk about the parts and features and of each, and talk about the paper and all of that kind of stuff. These are beautiful notebooks. Firstly, like design-wise, Tiefossi really do beautiful work. Like this one, which is called Embracing the Light, I think is absolutely beautiful. It's got this sort of almost like rubberized kind of material, hard cover, and very hard, with this beautiful sort of like embossing and foil and everything. It looks great. So as I said, let's talk about these notebooks. Let's start here with the Embracing the Light notebook. So as you can see, this is roughly A5 size, good hardcover, nice thick notebook. It does have very high quality 160 GSM paper, so it's expected to be quite thick. It's got a really solid elastic band on it, like really solid, like it's thick, it's sort of robust. A lot of these rubber bands, you feel they're going to sort of give way after a period, but this one, I don't think that's going to be the case for quite a while. So nice rounded corners. You can see the edges sort of have a little overlap there just to protect the edges of the paper. When you open up, you get the traditional "this book belongs to" page, and then a couple of blank pages, and then we are into the notebook proper. And this is a dot grid notebook. It's got a 5mm dot grid in a lovely sort of light grey. The camera picks that up, and the pages are all numbered. I've written a little bit about the book in the back, but flip to the very back, we see there's a little, back pocket there and a pen loop. And then if we open it up to my test page, we can have a bit of a look. Now, I've done some writing samples, but I've just got a few details of this one here. So as I said, this is the Tiefossi A5 Embrace the Light dot grid notebook in navy. There are a range of different colors and finishes and things like that. They have actually a huge range of notebooks, so I'll link to their website and everything down below. You can check everything out there. It's made from a handcrafted vegan leather cover, which is high quality, durable, and sustainable. It's got 160 GSM 5mm dot grid paper, as I said, 190 numbered pages, so like right through the end there, numbered in the bottom corner. 2 ribbon bookmarks. The ribbon is an okay length. It just sort of meets the edge of the page there. I generally tend to like a little more length in the ribbon, but these ones do. As I said, it's got a back pocket, an elastic enclosure, a pen loop. It is 100% vegan, and this retails for 37 Australian dollars, which I think is really great value. So it's A5, and this one measures, based on my measurements, at 147 by 210, which, seeing as though A5 is 148 by 210, that's pretty close. You don't need to put this into a cover if you wanted to carry it in a hardcover, in leather cover notebook or anything. It is a durable, hardcover, beautifully made notebook that is going to be quite safe and secure on its own. They say it lays flat, and with some a little bit of coaxing, a little bit of folding, absolutely it does. These are all like thread bound sort of mini sections of signatures of paper. And it's a beautiful crisp white paper. This paper is quite white, and I really like it. It's got a heavy sort of quality to it. It's not smooth, it's not coated, it's just got a nice sort of heavy weight to it. And if we look at the writing sample here, so I've written with a Woncha Nodoka with a fine nib and Sailor Suiton. We've got Enzo Italia, the Alton version with a fine nib with Detrimentus Aubergine. A Parker 51 with like a fine medium nib with Baroque Inks Caviar. We've got a Pilot Custom 823 with a broad nib with Diamine Oxford Blue, which is a relatively aggressive ink. And then another Woncha Nodoka here with the Fude nib with Sailor Studios 967, which is one of my favorite green inks at the moment. I absolutely love it. I then have written with a rollerball, a Muji gel pen, a Pilot Pop Lol, a ballpoint, a little bit of highlighter there, a Unipin fine liner, a 2B pencil, and done an eraser test, and this one performs very well. And then an ultra fine Sharpie, just because I couldn't find my regular Sharpie. And if we look at the reverse of this page, you can see, firstly, nothing has come through. There is zero bleeding whatsoever. Like, On the front, everything looks great. Colors are all clear and crisp. You know, where you put down a bit of ink, you don't get too much shading on this paper, but the colors all look good and there's no sheen or anything like that. So it's fountain pen friendly, but it's not going to bring out things like shading and sheen from your ink. But there's also zero show through, like absolutely both sides of the page. These notebooks, all of these notebooks, both of these I'm looking at today, would be great for bullet journalists who like to use some markers and things like that. It may not stand up to, you know, your really heavy markers and those kinds of things, but for everyday stuff, this is a really good option. Not only are they nice looking notebooks, but they're beautifully made, like absolutely beautifully made, and the paper really, really stands up. So now let's look at this one, and this is, I think, absolutely beautiful. So it's an all black notebook. It's charcoal colored black, and it's got this sort of like embossed pattern, like antique sort of style notebook pattern. I think it's really beautiful. Once again, it's got an elastic enclosure, and this one's not as sort of robust as the other one, but it does the job. Once again, a couple of ribbons and a pen loop. Let's have it. Actually, I think this is in grey. I think they call it, not black. So let's have a look in the notebook. So once again, we get this book belongs to, but we get some really lovely gold foiled end pages here, which are really lovely with the Tiefossi T. And then the same dot grid. The numbers are slightly bigger on the pages on this notebook, but it's still the same 5mm grid, same signature bound, thread bound sort of notebook. It takes a little more to coax this one to lay flat, but I think with a little bit of work, it would absolutely be fine. And then at the back, once again, we've got a little back pocket, and then this is one that has the only branding on it here, tiefossi.com, with a little T logo again there. And here we have the writing. So as I said, this is a Tiefossi A5 vintage dot grid notebook in grey. So it's vintage because it's designed to look like, you know, an old school vintage book. Big heavy binding, once again, rounded corners. This is another sort of poly something cover, like it's a vegan leather, so it's got a rubberized sort of texture to it. Little hanger over the edges to protect the pages, all those kinds of things. So yes, it's got a vegan leather exterior, 160 GSM 5mm dot grid paper, same as the other one, 256 numbered pages in this edition, 2 ribbons, back pocket, elastic closure, pen loop, 100% vegan. Now this one retails for 42 Australian, which is just a couple of dollars more than the other notebook I just showed you, which was 37 Australian. But to put these into context, so remember 37, 42, a Leuchtturm notebook, which is much lighter quality paper, so between 70 and 80 for the standard one, GSM, is going to cost you, but with a similar amount of pages, is going to cost you, in Australia, minimum $44 if you get it at full price, minimum. And a couple of brands, Archer and Olive notebooks, for a similar notebook with 160 GSM paper, once again, less pages, around the 190 pages, not the 254, is at more than $50 Australian. And then an Australian brand, Slow Journal, which I really, really like. I think they look absolutely beautiful and some of their designs are absolutely stunning. They use a similar 160 GSM paper and they're retailing in Australia for $48 plus. So I think the value point on these Tiefossi notebooks, and they have good deals on shipping and all of that kind of stuff. This is definitely a brand for those people who want a high quality notebook, lots of pages, thick paper, if they're using markers or fountain pens, things like that. These are lovely. And I have to say the paper in this, I think, is a even a big step up from the paper that was in the other hardcover notebook that I reviewed. This is the one I reviewed previously, nice notebook, and here's some of my writing samples and everything. And while it all performs beautifully on the front, this is like a coated paper, and it's, you know, fine for fountain pens, all of that kind of stuff, and there's very little bleed and everything, and it performs very, very well. But I think the paper in these is a more sort of standard paper, which I'm certainly much more comfortable with fountain pens and things like that. As you can see, once again, it's A5, 147 by 209, as opposed to 148 by 210. So minuscule difference. That's just like a manufacturing difference, really. I wrote with the same writing instruments as I did in the previous notebook. So we've got fines, medium nib, broad nib, fountain pens, a Fude nib, and then all sort of standard writing instruments. You can see once again the eraser has done a good job. I'm pretty sure this is the same paper as is in the other notebook I just reviewed. It's not stated anywhere, but I'm pretty sure, seeing as though it's the same company, same weight, all of that kind of stuff. And you can see on the back there, once again, nothing has come through, no ghosting. It's remarkably good paper. These are really beautiful notebooks. They're made well, they look great, they perform well. Really, like, they're a brand that I don't think receives quite enough attention, maybe because maybe because they're not stocked in a lot of sort of standard retailers, but they are beautiful quality notebooks. So please check them out. Look at the link below, all that kind of stuff. A big thank you to Tiefossi for sending these out for review. I love their notebooks. I love looking at them, and they're a lovely brand to deal with. That's my experience with them, at least. So thank you for watching. I hope you found it interesting and useful. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, all that kind of stuff. It all helps the algorithm and helps me continue to make videos for you. If you'd like to support my channel by sponsoring a review, providing an item, or in some other way, I would really love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your notebooks, whatever they may be. Check out Tiefossi, and I'll talk to you soon.